guest is Matt Miller from OnMilwaukee.com. We are talking show business, TV and movies. You mentioned you kind of had maybe a sneak peek for us, Matt, into award season. Can you share what you know?
Yeah, we are getting into, the critics groups are giving out their awards and kind of trying to move conversations towards maybe the less obvious Oscar bait stuff. And you've got the National Board of Review coming out. We'll have the Oscar nominations in about a month and a half, I believe. If you can believe it, we're already knocking on the door of that. I think we're going to see Barbenheimer nominated for Best Picture. You're definitely going to see Oppenheimer. I'll be interested if Barbie makes it. Everyone's very confident it's going to make it. It's well reviewed. It's the biggest movie of the year, but it is a comedy, and the Oscars notoriously have a hard time accepting, loving comedy. So it's not like a Top Gun Maverick where it was like this obvious, or like these kind of big spectacles that Hollywood always loves to pay homage to. I think the fact that it made so much money is going to be the reason why it gets in here. And it's a good movie. Barbie's a very good movie. It will deserve the nominations it gets, especially for production design. The production of that movie is a real treat. You're going to see Scorsese come up at the Oscars with Killers of the Flower Moon.
Did you see it?
I did. I was quite a fan of it. I think it's very good. I think everyone's tremendous in it. I would have loved to have gotten just a little bit more of Lily Gladstone, who is going to be nominated for Best Actress this year. Just because like that relationship is so overtly and clearly toxic in the movie. And she is a smart character who also knows that it is overtly toxic, literally in the case of the plot of that movie. Yeah. And you just want a little bit more in her head to kind of understand the rationale of sticking by this person who is overtly connected to negative things. But yeah, I think that movie's great. Scorsese is just on an incredible roll right now. I've really loved this kind of late stage career of his.
Did you like The Irishman?
I did. I think The Irishman is tremendous, and it is filled with regret and filled with humor, but also a tremendous thoughts. And I think he's a really good. And listen, they're big chews. These movies. These are not. Yeah. I mean, we are clocking in on 3.5, 4 hours on these movies. But in the case of Killers of the Flower Moon, in the case of The Irishman, the length is the point. The point is to feel the longevity of a life wasted in the case of The Irishman. That's the point of that movie. The whole end of the movie is like, you have spent so much time with this man, and all he has at the end, all he has to claim to his name is an empty, cold, dark room and a blanket. That's all you get if you live without friends, without true friends, without any sense of morality. And then you have the Killers of the Flower Moon, which is just so. And I'm amazed it's made as much money as it has. Killers of the Flower Moon. It's made about $65-70 million, which is not Marvel money, not breaking the bank money, but for a 3.5 hour long, grim, depressing movie about America's grievous original sins, it's incredible that people have shown up.
Yeah. That's really interesting. I love your passion, and it comes across in your work too. When you really like something, and there've been times I've disagreed with you, but I'm like, oh, he makes a great point there. That's what's so great about talking movies. It's like, okay, I didn't consider that, but yeah, that's true. I have to ask you, did you see? I think you told me you saw Silent Night.
I did. The new John.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. What you thought of that?
I was disappointed by it, and part of that isn't entirely the movie's fault. Part of it is how they sold that movie, that they sold it as John Woo's back. He's making action movies. It's going to be a goofy, crazy Christmas action movie. John Wick, but it's Christmas, essentially. And then you see the movie, and the movie's it's a very grim, revenge flick, and bare bones, literally bare bones, because there is no dialogue in that movie. It's a
silent movie.
It is
except for the gunfire, which is
dialogue-free film. I don't think there's an actual spoken word in the entire movie. So all you have is this kind of bare bones revenge plot, and it's not a fun movie to watch. And some of the action is enjoyable, and it's John Woo, who is not, a Marvel director who's just going to leave it to, the second unit to
Right.
just do coverage and stuff like that and film things in uninteresting ways. He is going to film the heck out of an action movie,
Yeah.
and he does in some cases, but there's just not much there. And again, you go in and you're like, oh, John Woo's back, gonna see a guy get revenge, and then you watch it and you're just like, I am spending a long time just being unhappy watching a man being an unhappy.
Yeah, I was expecting a Violent Night or something like that. I'm like, wow, they're 30 minutes in. I'm like, they haven't said anything. Hey, can you hang
Yeah,
on, Matt? We just got to do a quick thing here, and then I want to continue this if you're game.
absolutely. Let's do that quick thing.
Outstanding. It's Nightlight with Pete Schwaba on the Civic Media Radio Network.